Calligraphers out there will know that what you're seeing is not really the art of calligraphy. It all stemmed from a gift from my dear friend Mary Bond almost 30 years ago. A felt calligraphy pen. Okay? You know, get them at your office supply, whatever. And just God bless that, you know, with a steady hand at 2 o'clock, look what came out. And it's just kind of a part of me. I have them in all colors now, and it was just a little tiny expression of love. And isn't that the way it happens? Just that little kindness can be a ripple in one person's life and then in the lives of many people. Just want to encourage you to do that small act of kindness today. Not random, but intentional act of kindness. It can mean a lot in someone's life. Well, love was not a strong early theme for Tom Davis. He came from a broken home. Didn't know his real dad until the age of 17. The love of Christ was life-changing for Tom, who became a youth pastor in Dallas, Texas. He grew concerned that 80% of young people today from Christian homes are leaving their faith in college and university. In the mid-90s, he took young people and their parents to Russia to run a camp for orphans, believing that they would see the power of God's love at work. He made a return trip for an 11-year-old orphan who had captured his heart.
When we went to adopt Anya, this was in June, all the process was completed, the paperwork was done, and in March I'm back in Russia. I'm going to tell her for the first time she's going to be our daughter. And so we get to the orphanage, it's freezing cold, I mean, you know, the one light bulb hanging down, I mean, terrible place. And I think no one knows I'm there. So I rush in the doors, past my translators, I'm going to find Anya, you know, pick her up in my arms and tell her she's going to come home with us and be our daughter. And when I walked in, there were 100 and something kids standing there waiting for me. They were up this crickety set of stairs, and they're looking at me in rags with these hollow looks in their eyes. And I didn't know what to do. I was completely caught off guard. And so I kind of started trying to wave, and they weren't really waving back, and I didn't know what was happening. And all of a sudden, these two little girls shoot out of the crowd like bullets, grab my legs. And I'm thinking, oh, how cute. I'd remembered them from camp last year, but what they said changed me forever. They started, you know, rubbing my leg, and they both looked up at me, and they looked me in the eyes, and they said, Papa, Papa. And, you know, Jim, I've never forgotten about that moment, because I think what must those little girls have gone through to have the courage to say, you know, here's a daddy. He's taking Anya home. Maybe if we throw ourselves out there and tell him we want to go home with him, that he'll take us too. He'll give us a family. He'll be our daddy. And of course, I thought about throwing those kids in that suitcase, but couldn't. And so what we ended up doing is, as a pastor, I help Children's HopeChest develop a program where we take churches all over the U.S. and Canada. I mean, one of our best churches is in Winnipeg, Riverwood. And we connect them with these communities overseas. They adopt, literally, like James 1:27. They take that passage, they incarnate that passage, and they adopt a community of orphans overseas. They have full responsibility for those kids. They travel. It's a holistic program. It's discipleship, but it's food, clothing, shelter, education. We're there with them through the long haul. And our goal is that we want to intersect with these kids so that they don't just survive now, but they thrive. That, you know, we're crazy enough to believe that God uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and that He'll take these kids, and we've already seen Him do it, and they'll become the ones who are attorneys and doctors and political leaders and transform the country.
So many blessings out of brokenness. Russian orphans challenged Tom to dare to love in a whole new arena. His heart and the heart of those who traveled to Russia was enlarged, but so was his faith. Tom now lives in Colorado Springs, and as he said, he's president of Children's HopeChest. When orphans in Russia reach 15, they're forced to leave the orphanage. 15% of those commit suicide within 2 years. 70% of the girls become prostitutes because of hopelessness. We must dare to love. Thanks to your support of Crossroads Ministry, we can help bring awareness of important outreaches like Tom's. Together, we can make a difference in this world in so many ways. Please stand with us by pledging your monthly support and becoming a member of our Crossroads family. May we all discover the joys of compassionate living. And if you're recovering from a failed marriage, as one man who called yesterday is, you will find the Love Dare a helpful schoolroom with its great teaching on what God means when He says, love one another. Call for your copy, and remember No matter what is behind you, God wants to redeem the rest of your life. Prayer can help make a fresh start. And as that church sign David and I both saw yesterday says, prayer is the best form of hands-free communication. Our prayer partners are always available if you need a hand.